This is Potato, and in today's video, we're going to be building her a potato-powered ecosystem. So let me take you back to day 1. So I grabbed a 5-gallon tank and went over to the Simply office to start planning out the build. The goal is to suspend a potato on the top of a fish tank and allow the roots to grow in the water. I actually did this with a tomato plant in my first ever video, so I went on my computer and found a 3D model that would work perfectly to hold the potatoes. But we have a small issue. The 3D model is made for a rimless tank, and our tank has this black rim, so we'll need to take this rim off. So I grabbed a blade and started running it under the rim. There's usually a thick layer of silicone holding the rim on, so we'll need to cut it all out. I tried to pry the top off, and it was really stuck, so I had to grab some other tools to see if I can cut away the plastic. And after about 20 minutes of working at it, I finally got most of the rim off, but as soon as I tried to remove this corner, it suddenly cracked and shattered. So after all this hard work, it all just went to waste. But if you want to see me rebuild this tank for another video, then leave a comment fix the broken tank. I went over the Simply workshop to grab another tank, and this time I figured we needed a different plan. Instead of taking the whole rim off and breaking it like the last one, I think we should try to make 2 openings for our holders to sit. So I placed 2 pieces of tape to mark our holders. Once I finished, I figured it would be easiest to use a Dremel to cut through the plastic, but we need to be careful not to hit the glass. Now that we've finished the openings, it's time to bring the tank back to the fish room and start the build. I grabbed a container of old aqua soil to start our foundation. This old container of aqua soil is really good because it already has nutrients and beneficial bacteria inside of it. There was also this custom PVC pipe from when I was doing the swamp ecosystem, so I added it into the tank, and it was time to add the hardscape. I want to fill the tank with driftwood and rocks, so I grabbed a bundle of driftwood, but we need to clean it and soak it first. So I took our wood outside and tossed them into a bucket with running water. This will help remove the dirt and debris so it doesn't enter our ecosystem. We also need to soak our driftwood because right now we have some pieces that are floating, so I'll leave it overnight and let's go work on the rocks. I grabbed a bunch of these smooth stones, but they're way too big for our tank, so I grabbed a hammer and broke them into pieces. These rocks are extremely strong, so it took a couple swings. Once we finished, I brought the rocks back to the tank and started spreading them out. These stones will create a nice contrast with the driftwood we'll be adding tomorrow morning. So while we wait for our wood to soak, let's go get our potatoes. I took a drive over to Walmart and got a regular and sweet potato to see which one will grow the best. It's the next morning, and I went outside to check the driftwood, and all of our pieces have sunk to the bottom of the bucket. The driftwood also released tannins last night, creating a brownish tint in the bucket, kind of like our river ecosystem. So I brought the driftwood back to the tank and filled in the gaps we left between the stones. Once we finished, I added the equipment onto the tank. And now we just need to fill it up. Once our tank was filled, I added our 2 potatoes onto the holders and started the cycling process. I came back a week later and we're finally starting to see some growth. The regular potato is pushing out these green stems, and our sweet potato has a tiny little shoot that's just starting to break through. And if you look under the water, the sweet potato has already started growing its first roots. Those roots are going to drop down into the tank and start pulling nutrients straight from the water. So hopefully our regular potato catches up soon. It's day 10, and our ecosystem is finally ready to add some life. So I went to the store to check out what they had, and when I got there was a giant selection of betta fish. I was carefully looking through the collection when I spotted these 2 females up in the corner. The red one kind of reminded me of Sam from our first betta video, but this white one caught my eye. So I bought the white one and brought it back to the Simply HQ and started acclimating our betta. While I was at the store, a subscriber recognized me and they were buying a betta fish of their own. So I helped pick out some stuff for the tank and gave her some tips on how to take care of her pet. I hope you enjoy your betta fish, Amy. Thanks for watching the videos. Now that our betta fish is acclimated, I added her into the ecosystem. She spent some time exploring her new home. She even went up to check out the sweet potato. It's been about 2 weeks since we started this potato ecosystem, and now everything is starting to establish itself. The sweet potato has pushed out a few more sprouts, but under the water the root growth has been a little slower. Meanwhile, the regular potato has completely taken off. There's now a big root system hanging down into the water, and the top growth is getting thicker and taller every day. It's actually pretty cool watching this happen in real time, because you're basically seeing what would normally be underground, just fully exposed inside of a fish tank. And our betta fish potato has been settling in really well. She's been really active, exploring around the tank, and even comes up for food every time I walk by. I've been feeding her these micro pellets daily, which work for now, but I feel like it's time to upgrade her diet, because with low quality food, it can fill them up, but it doesn't always give them what they need long term. So I ordered some higher quality betta pellets that are more focused on protein, and they should be coming in later this week. I came back a couple days later, and the potatoes have taken off even more. The sweet potato sprouts have exploded, but the regular potato is on a whole different level. The root growth under the water is insane. It's spreading out and starting to take over the whole section of the tank. Those roots are consistently soaking up waste from the water, things like ammonia and nitrates, and using it to fuel their growth. So the more the roots develop, the more stable this ecosystem becomes. Anyways, our new food got here, so I dropped a couple small pinches in for potato, and we have to be cautious on how much we feed, because with betta fish, their stomach are only about as big as their eye, so if you overfeed, it can lead to bloating or swim issues. Plus, in a setup like this, any extra food just doesn't disappear. It sinks down the bottom and turns to waste. So with potato being the only animal in here, I started thinking about adding something to help clean it up. So I went online and found some shrimp we don't have in our collection. So I placed an order, and this is actually my first time ordering live animals online. So I'll be back in a couple days when they arrive. It's day 24 now, and our shrimp finally arrived in the mail. I love the drip acclimate shrimp because it helps slowly introduce them to the new water parameters. We ended up going with orange Ridley Neocaridina, and they actually match the setup perfectly. The sweet potato has this orange tone, and the regular potato is lighter, so it kind of ties all together. As soon as they were ready, we added them into the tank, and they started exploring right away, moving across the wood, the rocks, and even climbing around the roots. Meanwhile, above the water, the potatoes have really taken off up top. The sprouts have gotten a lot bigger, reaching up and starting to fill out. Also, the regular potato's root system has exploded down into the bottom of the tank, so I'm going to leave everything for about a week and let the system do its thing. It's now day 30. Coming back to the tank, the water looks extremely clean, the shrimp are active, and you can see them all over the tank staying busy. They've settled in really well, and honestly they're going to be a solid addition to the shrimp collection. I've been building in the giant shrimp ecosystem, and looking at our potatoes, I'm pretty shocked at the growth we've had over the last 30 days. The sweet potato has filled out even more up top, and the regular potato is still dominating under the water with that root system. Plus, our betta fish potato is still moving around and owning the tank. She's been active, eating well, and just overall doing great in the setup. But this isn't the last time you're going to see her. I'm actually planning a bigger betta project later this year, where I'll be working with 5 different betta fish. So if you want to see how that turns out, make sure you're subscribed and watch my giant betta fish ecosystem here.